The world's largest oil exporter is spending more money than anyone else to get rid of oil. Saudi Arabia is pouring hundreds of billions of dollars into solar panels, wind farms, and a futuristic city that runs on nothing but clean energy. On the surface, this looks like a green revolution, a petrostate finally seeing the future. But the numbers don't add up. The kingdom's grand solar ambitions would generate just a fraction of its own colossal electricity demand. So why build it at all? The answer isn't about saving the planet. It's about a brutal calculation to keep selling the one thing the world says it doesn't want anymore. This is the Energy Historian, uncovering the hidden systems that power civilization. And this story begins not with a solar panel, but with a barrel of oil that's about to become useless. For decades, Saudi Arabia's power has been built on a simple, devastatingly effective formula. They sit on some of the cheapest, easiest to extract oil on the planet. They pump it, sell it abroad for dollars, and use those dollars to buy everything else: food, weapons, technology, and loyalty. But that entire model has a hidden, fatal flaw. It depends on burning a massive amount of that same oil at home. Nearly a third of all the oil Saudi Arabia produces is not exported. It's consumed domestically, burned in power plants to generate electricity, used as fuel for cars and industry. They are literally burning their wealth to keep the lights on. Every barrel burned at home is a barrel not sold abroad for hard currency, and as their population grows and their economy expands, that domestic furnace is getting hungrier. This creates a terrifying economic spiral. The more oil they use at home, the less they have to sell. The less they sell, the less money they have to fund the government programs that keep their society stable. To compensate, they'd need to pump more oil, but that just accelerates the depletion of their finite resource. It's a slow-motion suicide pact. Their entire political economy is built on exporting oil, but their survival at home requires them to incinerate it. This is the core contradiction that every petrostate faces, but for Saudi Arabia, the scale makes it existential. Their domestic energy consumption has been growing at a pace that would devour their entire export capacity within a few decades. The kingdom wasn't facing an energy transition, it was facing an energy bankruptcy. So, the solar push isn't primarily about exporting clean power, it's about freeing oil. Every megawatt-hour generated by a solar panel in the desert is a megawatt-hour that doesn't have to come from a barrel of oil burned in a power plant. That barrel is now liberated. It can be pumped, loaded onto a tanker, and sold to someone else. The solar farm isn't a replacement for oil exports. It's an enabler. It's a tool to maximize them. The Saudis aren't buying the sun to get out of the oil business. They're buying the sun to get out of the oil business. They're buying the sun to stay in the oil business for as long as humanly possible. Their transition strategy is designed to protect the core asset. Think about the sheer perversity of that incentive. The global push for renewables, meant to displace fossil fuels, has handed the world's largest oil exporter a financial lifeline. By adopting solar technology, they can lower their own production costs for oil. They reduce the internal competition for their resource. This makes their remaining oil cheaper to bring to market and extends the profitable life of every field. The green technology subsidizes the brown commodity. It's a breathtaking piece of systems jujitsu. The very tools designed to undermine their power become the tools that cement it. This logic becomes crystal clear when you look at the master project, Neom, the $500 billion futuristic city in the desert. It's marketed as a post-oil paradise, a linear city with no cars, powered entirely by wind and sun. But follow the money. Neom's crown jewel is not its carbon-free grid. It's Helios, a project to produce the world's cheapest green hydrogen. Hydrogen is the next great hope for clean industry and transport. To make it, you need vast amounts of clean electricity to split water molecules. Saudi Arabia plans to use its desert sun to become the Saudi Arabia of green hydrogen. They will export sunshine in molecular form. But here's the catch. Who is the most logical, desperate buyer of this green hydrogen? Europe, a continent desperate to decarbonize its heavy industry, like steel and chemicals, and desperate to escape dependency on Russian gas. Saudi green hydrogen offers a perfect solution. It creates a new energy export vector for the kingdom, one that is politically palatable in a decarbonizing world. It builds a bridge to the future. And every dollar Europe spends on Saudi hydrogen is a dollar that helps fund the very oil state it's trying to move away from. The money flows back, recycling into the system, buying time. The sun isn't replacing the oil, it's financing it. This is the hidden mechanism of the energy transition in resource states. The first resource to be displaced isn't the export commodity, it's the domestic fuel. The oil saved at home is the oil sold abroad. The entire system is optimized for one thing, protecting the core revenue stream for one more day, one more decade. The transition in this light isn't a moral awakening. It's a logistical retrofit, a survival upgrade. You can see this pattern etched in history. Look at 1970s America after the oil shocks. The immediate reaction wasn't to stop driving. It was the Fuel Use Act, which banned the use of natural gas and oil in new power plants. The goal was to free up oil and gas for higher value uses like transport and chemicals, or for export. Coal was pushed into the power sector as a sacrificial buffer. The system moved to protect the premium fluid. Britain did the same in the 1980s with the dash for gas. North Sea gas was brought ashore not just for heat, but to generate electricity, displacing expensive coal. That freed up coal for export, or simply reduced the cost of running the country. The pattern repeats. When a valuable export fuel is being burned too cheaply at home, the state intervenes to swap it for something less valuable on the global market. The energy mix isn't about what's cleanest, it's about what's most expendable. For Saudi Arabia, solar and wind are the new coal. They are the expendable domestic buffer. The calculation is brutally financial. A barrel of oil sold to Japan or China might bring in $80. That same barrel burned in a Saudi power plant might be valued at the equivalent of $20. The moment you can generate that electricity for the equivalent of $10 using solar, you've just created $70 of pure profit. You haven't stopped being an oil company, you've become a more profitable one. The solar panels are just a very advanced, very public form of cost-cutting. Clicks, for ye didn't get, Jay. Thinking, Dorlin, Bertin, Dunlame, Yanakalam. Eating with Jane, Thorlane, Dunlame, the Doyalame Gaya Berting. Thing wayen gea, they kung wayen yane berting, dunglam berting gea. Plan to diversify away from oil is funded entirely by oil. It's a circular logic that only works if the oil keeps flowing and the money keeps coming. The solar strategy is the key that keeps that circle from breaking. It reduces the internal drain on the treasury. The kingdom's future is still hitched to the past. They are using the technology of tomorrow to subsidize the commodity of yesterday. So, the next time you see a headline about a massive solar project in the desert, don't just see a green transition. See a barrel of oil being physically pulled from a domestic furnace and placed onto a tanker. See a financial lifeline being extended. The Saudis have looked at the coming decades and made the only rational bet a petrostate can make. The world will still want their oil, but it will need a green alibi. They are building that alibi at a colossal scale. They are not exiting the fossil fuel business. They are preparing to be the last one standing. Most people assume a country building the world's biggest solar plants is trying to quit oil. Drop your answer below. I'll break down why they have it backwards in the next episode. If this changed how you see the system, subscribe.